got Audis, Hondas, and Toyotas. They are the ones who sponsor who Mazz thinks is a fraud and who's for real. Mazz's tears.
Yeah, those are the tears of a clown.
Mazz's tears.
The second tier. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears.
Dallas. Buffalo. Tennessee.
Mazz's tears.
Third tier. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears. 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 Tears.
Every Thursday, you get Mazz's Tears here on Felger and Mazz. Again, Mike out today. Welcome back, 98.5 Sports Up, simulcast NBC Sports Boston. Mazz's Tears, presented by the Bernardi Automotive Group. Celebrate the end-of-year savings now at all Bernardi locations. Save big on their lineup of Honda, Toyota, Volvo, Acura, and Audi vehicles. All priced to sell fast. Get started at BernardiCars.com. All right, Mazz, we're talking Sox here to start this first hour of the show today. The offseason, they miss out on Pete Alonso. It's another name off the board for the Interest Kings, which leads to today's Mazz's Tears.
Yep. So, Murray, I categorize these as the ones that got away. And these are sort of very specific parameters, but let me see if it works. And I always have trouble with these sorts of, with many of these tiers or lists, because I sometimes forget. You just one slips your mind. Like, I'll give you a good one that we talked about this week. I said, who's the last compensation free agent that the Red Sox signed? The answer, Alex Bregman, a year ago. We had people email us about that yesterday. So there are obvious ones that I just gloss right over because I forget that they were, offered contracts or what have you. So the idea on this one is guys the Red Sox missed on that they could have signed. Okay, this isn't bad signings. This is, and some of them can be their own players. So, again, guys they could have and should have signed but didn't. Some of whom were their own, but, work with me a little bit. So, tier 3. And again, I tried to stay within the last, call it 30 years-ish, 30 to 35 years, going back to maybe 1990. A lot of these guys were free agents. Pete Alonso yesterday, I think that's a missed opportunity. It's one of the bigger ones that they whiffed on. I think they wanted the player, although now that we have some details on what the offer was, maybe they never expected to get him, and they're just dinking around. Jose Contreras coming out of Cuba. You remember that one? Theo Epstein, I think it was in South America, Jimmy Stewart, was it not? That he trashed his hotel room, or that was the story. Anyway, when he found out that Contreras was going to the Yankees, you remember that?
Sounds right, yeah.
I want to say they were in Colombia or maybe Venezuela, Central America. I don't remember. But somewhere someone could find that easily. Teoscar Hernandez is one that I don't think gets brought up enough.
He wanted to be here.
Yes, and they went after him a couple of times and couldn't close the deal. And Teoscar Hernandez would be the right-handed power bat right now that they need, but they dinked around. They weren't willing to give him the offer at the beginning. He went to the Dodgers, and he re-signed there.
He's been sneaky awesome there.
Yeah, good. I mean, again,
it's overlooked, I feel like, because it's so much about Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and others, but
yeah,
he's really good.
I like him too, Murray, and I think he would have fit what they needed, which is like a number 6, number 5 hitter.
And again, wanted to be here, which
right,
makes it frustrating.
Exactly right. So here's one that we threw on the list. It's not a player, but it bears mentioning, and I'll explain why he's tier 3. Billy Beane of the Oakland Athletics. Now, ultimately, Billy Beane withdrew himself, and the Red Sox had agreed, and then he backed out, and they ended up with Theo Epstein. So that one is hard to really hold over their heads, but it was a very public pursuit that ended up with them, at least for a couple of weeks or a week, holding their Johnsons, and that seems to happen a lot to the Red Sox.
Tier 2.
Mark Teixeira, this is one I covered closely, and you can say, yeah, but he sucked with the Yankees. Okay, would it have been different at Fenway Park? I don't know. Would it have had a different, would they potentially have won another World Series in there? Because they needed a power bat, they needed a first baseman. He would have been a good fit. If I'm not mistaken, that was after 08 into 09. They needed to replace Manny.
Didn't they draft him, lose him?
I think that's right.
Drafted
Joe.
him out of high school.
They drafted him out of high school. He went to college, and then he was drafted again. And he was originally with the Rangers or the Braves? The
Rangers traded to the Braves.
Traded to the Braves.
And the Yankees, by the way, won the World Series in 2009, the first year of Mark Teixeira.
Correct. Along with CC Sabathia that year as well. Kyle Schwarber, easy one. That's on 2 occasions they could have had him. They should have re-signed him when he was here back in 2021. They didn't. He went to Philly, has hit about 200 home runs since then. Now they wanted to get him again, allegedly, but it doesn't feel like they really made an offer. Alex Rodriguez, they had a deal in place for Rodriguez. It just required taking on the contract. They weren't willing to do that, and the Players Union ended up rejecting a proposed restructure of that deal, but the Red Sox had the chance there, and they blew it.
Quick true story on that. So that's going back to Valentine's Day weekend 2004. I freaked out so bad about them not getting him at the time that I helped ruin that Valentine's Day weekend. I was legitimately pissed when they missed out on him, like a lot of people were.
Yeah, no, look, you could argue they were better off not getting him.
Right, yeah. It's easy to say that after the fact, but at the time, I was mad.
But that would have gotten rid of, they would have shipped out Nomar at the time. They'd have been way ahead of the trading deadline.
And John Lester was part of that deal.
And Manny Ramirez would have been gone too. So, again, take that for what it's worth. And then the last one, easy one, Roger Clemens. And I'll tell you why I put this tier 2 and not tier 1. Because I'm not convinced that Clemens would have been the same guy in Boston that he became in Toronto.
Oh, no. He got so motivated by the fact that he got done dirty here in his mind by the organization.
May I just add that he left. They brought him in again. They had a chance to sign him. He used the Red Sox, and I think went back to the Yankees, and then used the Yankees and went to the Astros.
I think that's right,
Is that
Joe.
it? Yeah.
Very good. Yep, very good.
Tier 1, Mazz.
Okay, we'll make this quick. These are pretty obvious. John Lester, which I thought was an absolutely colossal mistake, and think of what it led to. They didn't sign Lester. They let him go, and they ended up having to sign David Price, who was a disaster. Mookie Betts was a trade, but he was traded because they weren't willing to sign him and invest what it was what it would have been required to keep him here. Huge mistake. They went after Mike Messina in the offseason of 2001, I believe. And again, there's a silver lining here, but they would have paired Mike Messina at that time with Pedro Martinez. Okay, that was the plan. That was before these owners. And Messina ended up going to New York, and the Red Sox didn't push hard enough or go far enough. And it could be that Messina never wanted to come here. Kirby Puckett, early 90s, was another one. The Red Sox.
I don't remember this.
Oh, yeah, might have been hard to get him out of Minnesota.
1991, after the Twins won the World Series, Kirby Puckett was on the free agency, and the Red Sox allegedly offered him 5 years, $35 million.
There's a media story that goes along with this too, Murray, that may or may not come up during the show. If not, I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
And then Bernie Williams in 1999 was a free agent, and the Red Sox were close to getting him. And the Yankees got concerned at the very last minute, and Steinbrenner said he would not allow Bernie Williams to go to Boston and increase the value. The Red Sox should have said, whatever he gave you, we'll give you more. They didn't, but the Bernie Williams failure led to Carl Everett coming to the Red Sox a year later. And it might have been the same offseason. Actually, I think it was a year later. And then we all know how things went down with Carl Everett.